Hey folks, we're going to get started in about 10 seconds. We're just going to give some last minute folks to hop on. Great. Hi everyone, my name is Chris Banks, Director of Product Marketing here at Pyramid Analytics. Thank you for joining us today. I am so excited about today's topic, having been a programmer back in my own day, and this was a challenge that I certainly had at times, and it's amazing to see how Pyramid Analytics solves it. Welcome to Data Insights in 15 minutes, and today's topic is about analytics that adapt to change when change happens. And I am joined today with one of the best SEs that we have in North America here at Pyramid Analytics, Kevin Kratzer, and I'm going to pass the ball to him shortly. Kevin, if you can hit that next slide. Awesome. So if you're not familiar with Pyramid Analytics, number one, shame on you. You should be familiar with us because we've gotten rave accolades this past year, and we continue to get rave accolades about the power of what our decision intelligence platform provides. Basically, our decision intelligence platform is best in class and provides data prep, business analytics, and data science all from one platform to deliver a frictionless decision-making environment for all of your users, not just a handful, but all of them, and accessing all of the data inside your enterprise. So whether that data resides on-prem, in the cloud, a combination of the two, what we have is the best direct query performance in the market, almost 10 times faster than what our competitors actually bring to the plate. So there's no need for data duplication. And we give you that great environment to give you the best performance and scalability in the market. And our platform was just built from the ground up just a few years ago. So when you compare us to some of the other vendors that have decades old technology, we can scale like there's nobody's business. Next slide, Kevin. So I'm going to pass the ball to our wonderful SE who's going to provide a demonstration for you. And then I'm just going to be quiet and watch the show. Kevin Kratzer, take it away.
All right, thank you, Chris, and good morning, everyone. Like Chris said, my name is Kevin Kratzer. I am an SE with Pyramid Analytics. I've been in the data and analytics space for about 15 years, and this is one area, like Chris, where I've seen a lot within that 15 years. But one thing has stayed the same. When change happens, it's disruptive. Okay. You know, have you ever been in a scenario where you get a call from IT and they tell you, oh, we just did an update to our financial core system and the vendor changed a field name? Well, that would explain the disruption to analytics and the disruption to business users. But what happens after that is just as important in understanding how you're able to identify where issues are, get them fixed, to minimize the disruption to those business users. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about how we adapt to that change, how we future-proof analytics to adapt to your IT strategy or technology strategy. And we're going to focus on a financial institution today, okay, specifically a business analyst within that organization. And we're going to look at, you know, this organization has an incentive program for their merchants and partners. Okay, and the data that's used in the dashboards that help manage that program is stored in an on-premise Postgres database. Well, recently the organization is put together a new cloud strategy. Okay, and they've moved that all the data from that Postgres environment up to a Snowflake cloud environment. Okay, and this includes the merchant transaction system that we get on a daily basis. Well, as a business analyst that manages this incentive program dashboard, this really impacts me. It really impacts my business users in a meaningful way. So how do we adapt? How do we ensure that there's minimal disruption? Well, after the data has been moved to Snowflake, that's where we start. Okay, and so over the next, we'll say 10 minutes or so, I'm going to show you how Pyramid Analytics can adapt to this situation. And we're going to start, I'll just drag this over here. We're going to start by looking at the dashboard. Okay, it's your typical dashboard that goes in and it's showing us insights on the incentive program when it comes to the volume of transactions, the value of transactions, and other insights. But the dashboard's made up of several different pieces of content. Now, what I'm going to do from here, I'm just going to go ahead and close that. This is, let me do this one more thing. We want to make sure that we see that this information is running off of the Postgres environment. So this box here is giving us some information. And right down here, we'll see that it is running off my local Postgres environment. What I want to do is I actually want to move this dashboard and all of its content up to run against the data in the Snowflake cloud environment. So I'm going to use a component of the platform called Change Data Source. Essentially what this is Pyramid Analytics separates analytical content from the data using a semantic, virtual semantic layer. What we're able to do is we're able to move analytical content from one semantic layer to the other using this utility. So we'll see that it sees it as running on my local Postgres and allows me to go through and pick where I want to move it to. And in this case, I'm going to move it to my Snowflake instance. Now I'm going to check this box here. This is important because I've clicked on the dashboard, but the system has identified all of the other analytical assets that are impacted by this change. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Now it's gone through, it's made the changes to all of those pieces of content, and I'm going to run this. Now, just like with any migration, it doesn't matter if it's analytics or operational systems, something has changed. Okay, we're not sure exactly what, but something has changed between these two environments to cause it not to work. And that's fine. But remember, what I said is the important part is how do we adapt? How do we minimize the disruption here? Well, I'm actually going to go through and use another component of this called analyze structure. And it's important to realize that these utilities can be run not only from the dashboard, but on individual items, but also at the folder level. Now that's where I'm going to run this. I'm going to use analyze structure. And what this is going to do is it's going to go through all of the content in this folder, and it's going to say, hey, we found some issues. Okay. And so what I'm able to do is go through and see that it found 10 issues within this folder. Saying, here's the first one, and it's giving me options on how I want to remap it. Well, I'm going to go through and just click apply to the fields that I want it mapped to. And you'll notice as I go through this, down at the bottom, it actually shows me all of the affected items, all the analytical assets that are impacted by this issue. It's not just a dashboard or single item. So I'm able to go through and continue going through this, and you'll see I have chain. So I'm going to change it to chain code. And we have transaction, which is now a name change of a field. I'm going to go through and do units, and volume is now sales. Now, if you notice on here at the top, it did find 10 issues. And because we've walked through this, it's telling you that it's fixed 10 items. So now what we want to do is we want to go back and we want to run that dashboard again. And what we're able to see is it's now working. But what's important is when I go to information here, we're going to look in that same place that we looked at initially, and we're going to see that it is now running off of my Snowflake instance. Okay. Now, while that did not take me 15 minutes, I hope that shows you the power of what we just went through. Okay. When change like this happens, typical solutions out there will require you to rebuild these analytical assets. It will require you to go into each one of the visualizations to find out what changed and what is broken. But with the Pyramid Analytics platform, we were able to utilize the power of the platform to help us identify those issues and fix them in minutes, not days, not weeks. So let me do this. Let me pop back over to the presentation. And so just again, in summary, the two components that really make this possible are data source changer and analyze structure. And they're really meant to help you future-proof your analytical investment and really stay agile when it comes to the data and analytics that help you drive your business. And with that, Chris, I'll hand it over to you.
That was awesome, Kevin. And that was less than 15 minutes. So this is awesome. Folks, if you do have a question, feel free to put it in the chat. If we don't have time to get back to you with all the questions, we will certainly follow up with you. And I'll give you a second to type anything in. Oh, here we go. We got a question. What changes can analyze structure correct? Are there any limitations to what it can correct?
That's a good question. And the quick answer is no. There's no limitation. But what can it find? It looks through all of the content to look for field mapping issues, hierarchy issues, data source mapping issues. So it's really going to look at everything from the analytical asset, the visualization, the chart, all the way down to the data structure itself for any kind of changes.
Awesome. Awesome, Kevin. Here's another question for you. Are there any limitations on data sources that are supported? So you showed us Snowflake and Postgres, but is there any limitation to what this can apply to?
No, actually there's not. The Pyramid Analytics platform can get to any data source you have out there, whether you're talking about relational, big data, flat file sources, any other sources we can get to, and we can run change data source and analyze structure against all of them.
Same person just has a follow-up on that. What about legacy databases, Kevin, such as IMS?
IMS, not familiar with IMS. What are you, but legacy data sources typically can be accessed either through a named connector or through a JDBC or ODBC connector that is provided out of the box as well.
Awesome, awesome. And we've got one last question. Who is the ideal user to use Analyze Structure? Is it for everyone?
So while Analyze Structure can be made available to anyone in your organization, it's really a best practice to provide this to your analyst. It's got, when you go through there, you notice that it provided me options on how to fix the issues that it found. So someone needs to at least understand the data structure behind the scenes so that they can click and select the new mappings. So it really, you don't need to go back to IT, but a business analyst can handle this utility.
Outstanding, outstanding. Take us to the next slide. So folks, if you're interested in more information or you'd like to engage with us around the power of our decision intelligence platform and what we can provide for you, we have 3 different adventures for you to follow up on, and you can certainly choose your own adventure around that. But the first one is see a demo with your own data. So if you'd like to provide for us an extract of your own data, and then we can provide a demonstration for you and showcase the power of what our platform can do, certainly feel free to take us up on that. If you'd like to schedule a one-on-one demo and let us just show you the power of everything that we can provide with the platform, we can do that as well for you. And then lastly, we've got a download available of 3 different analyst reports. And I mentioned this in the beginning, that we've gotten some rave accolades. One of them is the Gartner Critical Capabilities Report of this year, where we were ranked #1 for visual self-service analytics. Also the BARC survey that is out currently, where we had a perfect recommend score, and over, I believe, 40 #1 rankings for the 22 survey from BARC. And then certainly with Dresner Advisory Services, we've gotten some rave accolades as well. And are ranked a leader in self-service analytics. So take us up on any of those 3, take us up on all 3, but we'd love to hear from you. And if you certainly do have any other questions, we will follow up with you on that. So that being said, thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. And if you'd like any more information, feel free to take us up on any of these 3. Have a great day.